Shut up and sit down.
What's the story, Internet? I hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday evening. I hope you all enjoyed the Champions League football today. Before we jump into the matches that I'm going to review today, I want to rectify a mistake that I made in my previous videos. So the reason that Manchester United were knocked out is due to a rule change that UEFA has made. I thought that they were still going off of goal difference. And if they were, then that meant that due to United's more positive goal difference, they would be in a better position than PSG. However, because of the head-to-head, where we beat them 2-1, they beat us 3-1, that meant that they had a better head-to-head, and they went through. Doesn't make any sense to me. It is very similar to some American sports, so I think that's where they got the idea from, but I prefer the old goal difference days. It made it a lot more fair, because it's like if we had beaten Leipzig and Istanbul 550,000 nil, but then lost to PSG. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's my opinion out of the way. Regardless of the fact PSG still won 5-1. So it wouldn't have made a difference. It was just the fact that there was the opportunity there. So, yeah, so PSG wins 5-1. Neymar getting man of the match. He scored a hat-trick, and then Kylian Mbappe scored the other two goals, so unsurprising there. Hard luck to the Turks. They were in it, I guess. They didn't have the possession, but they had 10 shots, 4 of which on target. A nice gesture from PSG to Pierre Weibo, the assistant manager for Istanbul, where they gave him a signed shirt in solidarity. And then the players all lined the centre circle to kneel to say no to racism. So in that regard, it was a very positive match, even besides my bitterness as a Manchester United fan. Sometimes you have to look at it from a more human perspective and say that this is a good representation of what we want to see from the beautiful game. So, on to the matches that were actually supposed to be on Wednesday. Midtjylland won, Liverpool won. Bless them. They managed to get a draw, and they ended on 2 points, bless them. Liverpool were already miles through. Midtjylland actually kind of dominated the match. Possession was relatively even, but Midtjylland had 20 shots and 7 on target to Liverpool's 7 and 4. So fair play to them. Salah scored in the first minute, and from there Liverpool were never really going to lose, but thanks to an Alexander Schultz penalty, Midtjylland do get the point, so fair play to them. One of the big ones, Ajax 0, Atalanta 1. Crazy match. Atalanta scoring in the 85th minute thanks to Luis Muriel. Not a good showing from either team, really. 64% possession to Ajax, so they dominated the possession. 12 shots, but only 2 on target. And then Atalanta had 8 shots and only 2 on target. So neither of them were very efficient with their shots. But this means that Ajax, semi-finalists 2 years ago, and then they made it through, I'm pretty sure they made it through the knockouts, to the knockouts last season. Obviously didn't make it as far because they'd sort of been torn apart by other teams. But yeah, into the Europa League this season. So Atalanta go through on 11 points, Ajax on 7 into the Europa League. So Europa League's shaping up to be very interesting with the likes of Manchester United, Ajax, AC Milan, Spurs, Arsenal, shaping up to be a very interesting competition. It's not as bad as it has been in previous years. Sometimes it can be a bit of a laughing stock, but this year there's some relatively good teams, so fair play. So Bayern Munich 2, Lokomotiv Moscow 0. Never really in any doubt. Bayern Munich 70% possession, 22 shots, 7 on target. Choupo-Moting, just the layman of every league. Everywhere he goes, he manages to score. He was at PSG and now he's at Bayern. Even when he was at Stoke, he still manages to do the job, so fair play to him. That did mean that unfortunately Lokomotiv Moscow did not make it even into the Europa League, so they're out of Europe completely. And that was helped by the other score, which was Atletico Madrid 2, Salzburg 0. So although it was a bit worrying for Salzburg because Lokomotiv Moscow could have overtaken them, unfortunate for Salzburg because they had the possession, 18 shots, but only 2 on target. Again, a bit like the Atalanta-Ajax match. They had the shots, they just couldn't convert them. Compared to Atletico's 7 and 4 of them were on target. So, I mean, much more clinical. Mario Hermoso of all players, and then Yannick Carrasco, of course, popping up for the Madrid side. I'm going to go into Group C first because the other group, much more interesting. So, Manchester City beat Marseille 3-0. That assisted Marseille in unfortunately not being able to get into the Europa League. I'm not sure what their head-to-head was with Olympiacos, so I'm not sure if they were in a similar thing to Manchester United where they were just out. But that does mean that Marseille are out of Europe completely. And Porto's 2-0 win over Olympiacos sent them into the Europa League. So Olympiacos finished 3rd on 3 points. Marseille were also on 3 points, but I think it must have been they did have a better goal difference, but I think it was the head-to-head that I think affected that. So, City go through in first with 16 points, Porto in second with 13 points, and then, as I mentioned, Olympiacos in 3rd with 3 points. Now, into the group of death. So, going into this day of play, anyone could have gone through with these teams. It was ridiculous. So the match that finished first was Real Madrid 2, Mönchengladbach 0 at the Bernabeu. And that meant that there's this video of the Mönchengladbach fans watching for the other result. So let's go over this one first and I'll tell you what happened there. So 64% possession to Real Madrid. They dominated the game, 19 shots, 7 on target. Mönchengladbach just couldn't catch their breath with only 36% possession, 7 shots and 1 on target. So that means that they go through in second, Real Madrid go through in first, and the other match, Inter Milan 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 0. So Inter Milan 20 shots, 4 on target, Donetsk 7 shots, 3 on target, possession relatively even, 57-43. That means that Shakhtar go into the Europa League on 8 points and Inter Milan are out of Europe on 6. So no Inter Milan in either competition. So crazy that in the group of death where you expected Real Madrid and Inter Milan to go through, Real Madrid and Inter Milan struggled and Mönchengladbach almost finished top of the group. And Shakhtar Donetsk, fair play to them. I mean, they beat Real Madrid home and away. So, yeah, brilliant performance from all the teams in this group, and hard luck to Inter Milan. But that's football at the end of the day. It's not always the team that you expect to go through. So, so that means that our teams have been decided for the knockout stages. So, so let's go through the list quickly. So, going through from Group F, I'm going through matches, so my groups aren't going to be in order, but we've got Dortmund in first and then Lazio in second. Then, let me find this one. Group G, we have Juventus in first and then Barcelona in second. Going through in Group E, we have Chelsea in first and Sevilla in second. In Group H, we have PSG in first and then Leipzig in second. No hard feelings in that one, of course, as I'm sure you can tell. I loved reading that one out. Going through in Group D, we have Liverpool in first and then Atalanta in second. Going through in Group A, we have Bayern Munich in first and Atletico Madrid in second. Going through in Group C, we have Manchester City in first and then Porto in second. And then last but not least, in Group B, we have Real Madrid going through in first and then Borussia Mönchengladbach going through in second. So sets up some quite interesting potential matchups, especially because of the way the first and second works. We could have a Bayern versus Barcelona. We could, could we have a Bayern versus Dortmund? No, I think Dortmund went through in first, didn't they? So I was just thinking we could have the prospects of a Bayern versus Dortmund. But yeah, some interesting potential matchups there. Some shock teams going through, but then some of the old guard going through as well. So yeah, I hope you're all looking forward to the knockout stages. I'm not sure when they are due to start, but I'm assuming it'll be after the new year. I think that's usually when it starts. So I would say it's going to calm down, but because of the way that the Premier League works, there's just matches thick and fast coming up. So the 2 weeks, I believe it starts from next weekend all the way through to New Year's. It's just match, and it's just madness. So that league definitely doesn't calm down. A couple of the other leagues have winter breaks, so that calms down. So, but anyway, that's for the future. Now we get to celebrate with those teams that went through and drink ourselves to death if we're a team that didn't go through. But until next time, I will be back tomorrow with a preview of the Premier League. I believe there is a Friday fixture this week. Let me just make sure. Yes, Friday fixture, so I'll be back tomorrow to preview Friday and Saturday, and then I'll be back on Friday to preview Sunday and Monday. So until then, I hope you're all staying safe, keeping out of trouble. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and until next time, ta-ra for now.